guys, today we'll see how to make a basic loaf of bread, the one for sandwiches and to smother with butter and jam. If you're making bread for the first time, then this is a great recipe to start as it shows some key techniques that's needed to master bread making. It does have kneading, but we'll see how to do that with minimal effort. We'll also see how to shape a bread loaf easily to get that beautiful texture and shape. Everything will be explained in detail, so keep watching. For more such recipes, do subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so you don't miss on the recipes coming out every week. Okay, enough talking now, let's go make some bread. We'll start with 210 ml of lukewarm water. Water should be just warm to the touch, not too cold and definitely not hot. We'll add in 1 tablespoon of sugar, white or brown, your choice, and 1 teaspoon of instant yeast. Giving it a quick mix and then adding 3 tablespoons of butter. The butter needs to be at room temperature, just soft to the touch. You don't want it melting or hard. I'm taking 360 grams of bread flour, adding 1 teaspoon of salt to it, giving it a mix and adding it to the yeast and water. Now using the back of a wooden spoon, I'm going to mix all of this till it all comes together. You can use all-purpose flour as well. The amount of water needed might vary depending on the flour. So what you can do is you can add 150 ml of water with the yeast and keep adding the rest little by little as you go along kneading. This is the best thing to do if you don't have a clear idea of how much water the flour needs, or if you're using a flour that you have not used before. We'll turn this over onto a clean surface and start kneading. First, I'm going to bring it together, then I'm setting a timer for 6 minutes and will continue kneading. You see how I'm using my palms to do the kneading motion? This is the easiest way for you to knead and gives you the best result. As you knead, you will notice the dough will become smoother and easier to knead. After kneading for 6 minutes, we will do a window pane test on the dough. Basically, a dough is said to be well knead if it passes the window pane test. For this, you're going to pull a part of the dough and stretch it as much as you can. If it stretches without breaking, that means the dough is ready. But as you can see, my dough is tearing when I stretch it, so it needs a little more kneading. But before I do that, I'm going to let it rest for 10 minutes. This will give the dough the time to absorb the moisture and gives time for the gluten strands to be formed, relaxed and develop elasticity. After 10 minutes, I'm kneading for another 2 minutes. The dough is even more smooth and soft now. I'm going to do the window pane test again. As you can see, my dough is not tearing even after stretching so much, which means the dough is knead well, and we can move on to the next step, which is proofing the dough. Let's oil the bowl slightly so our dough can come off easily later. Cover and let it proof in a warm place for 2 hours. If the weather is cold at your place, then place the covered dough in the oven or in the microwave with the light on. That will do the trick. It's been 2 hours and as you can see, the dough has beautifully risen. It's more than doubled in size. Let's start shaping our bread. First, I'm going to punch it down and put it onto a clean surface. The dough is not sticky, so you don't need any extra flour. I will now flatten it out with my hands to get into a rectangular shape with the shorter side facing you. Take the bottom of the dough and fold it to the center. Take the top and fold it to the center so the layers overlap. Turn it 90 degrees. Then using a rolling pin, flatten it to get an elongated rectangular shape. As you can see, there is a lot of resistance from the dough, so it is really hard to stretch it out and get it into shape. So let's cover this and let the dough rest for 5 minutes. This will help the dough to relax, helping us to easily roll out and shape the dough. After 5 minutes, I'm flattening the dough to get an elongated rectangular shape with a thickness of less than ½ inch. As you can see, the dough is listening to us much more now after its resting time. We need to make sure there are no air pockets in the dough. We will now roll this from the bottom to top. Don't have to make it too tight, neither should it be too loose. Seal the edge of the dough. I'm rolling it like this so the edge is sealed even better. Similarly, we'll seal the ends too. The dough needs to have some tension on the top. It's this tension that helps it rise beautifully in the oven. So hold the dough and pull it towards you and you will be able to feel the top of the dough tightening up. Do this 2 to 3 times. Once done, I'm going to place this in the classic bread tin. This is the one I'm using. You can also use something like this. In that case, just make sure you prove only till it rises an inch above the tin. If not, the bread will collapse to the side. Cover and let it proof for 80 minutes. After 80 minutes, our dough has risen so very well. Now to get a nice color on the top, I will mix 2 tablespoons of milk with a teaspoon of sugar and brush it on top of the dough. Do it gently, making sure we don't deflate any part. Now our dough is ready to go into the preheated oven. Bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes. At 20 to 25 minutes, the top will start getting too brown, so make sure to place an aluminum foil. But don't take it out thinking it's done. If you do, the bread will be doughy and have a strong yeast smell to it. After 35 minutes, see how beautifully our bread has baked. You can put some butter on top to make the crust soft and let it cool down for 10 minutes. Don't mind the extra brown on my bread top. I forgot to place the aluminum foil. So this is what happens if you don't place it, so make sure you do. That does not mean that the texture and the taste is compromised. Just see how super soft the bread is and it tastes wonderful. And that beautiful swirl pattern is the result of our extensive shaping. It's so soft, fluffy and tasty that it can be had with just plain butter and you'll be happy. It also makes for a great toast. I have tried so many bread loaf recipes, but this recipe is the one that gave me a bread better than the store-bought ones. If you have any questions, do drop them in the comments and I will be glad to help you out. Also, if you liked this video, do hit the like button and I will see you next week. Bye.